Hello, folks. Welcome back to yet another episode of कोई नई बात बताओ. सही गलत, सच झूठ, logical illogical. We always tend to divide any general thing into these categories, right? And our brain functions like that. And in the modern days, we see people suffering with mental health issues and giving importance to the psychology, the philosophies. This episode is all about that. We have Dr. Aman Bhonsle, who is a psychotherapist, on Koi Nahi Baat Batao today. And it has been a great honor. It has been one of my favorite podcasts I ever created. So, without any further ado, let's directly dive into the conversation and learn something new. चलो कोई नई बात बताते हैं. Come on. Hello, Dr. Aman. How are you?
I'm all right, man. Can't complain. How are you, Dhruv?
I'm all good. So, now with Koi Nahi Baat Batao, we have this small ritual that whoever comes to the podcast, I ask them to introduce themselves because, in my opinion, no one can introduce you better than you yourself. So, tell the audience about who you are, what you do, and who you are for yourself.
All right. So, hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Aman Bhonsle. I'm a practicing psychotherapist. I'm a counselor. I'm also a corporate trainer, mindset coach. I work with the youth. I work with young professionals, with young couples, and old couples as well. As a couples therapist or relationship counselor, I run a private practice out of Mumbai, but ever since we've all gone global with Zoom, and as you can see, this format is conducive to reaching a much wider audience. I have been seeing a lot of clients globally as well in Dubai, in the States, in Australia, Southeast Asia, Africa as well, because they can all reach me through this medium. So I do work with people who are anxious, depressed, frustrated, stuck in their careers, stuck in their love lives, stuck socially, who are just unsure of life. So I provide bespoke solutions to them to sort of navigate this crazy journey called life, which I think all of us suffer through at some point or the
Yes.
other. And we need
Yeah.
someone to sort of just offer clarity and just give us an opinion that is completely different from what we're hearing our friends or family or teachers or bosses or colleagues tell us about how to be happy and how to find peace. So I am that neutral third party, that objective individual who offers his services, uh, you know, to people who just have questions. The questions could be anything, ranging from how do I gain more respect to how do I, make more money to why don't I get the girl to how do I get along better with my mom to how do I get over some traumatic incident of the past. It could be these questions or any other. And what I try to do is create a warm, inclusive, and slightly irreverent environment as well, because I think we all take life a little more seriously than we should be. And my practice is called the Heart to Heart Counseling Center. We're based out of Baikala. As of this year, we turn 38 years old. Okay, so that's 1 year older than me. And yeah, I work with my parents. I've written a few books. You can just Google Dr. Aman Bhonsle and you'll see YouTube videos. You'll see the books I've written about. I teach a subject called transactional analysis. And I think Google will tell you the rest. So I look forward to interacting with you, Dhruv, and getting to know you, your audience, and your questions as we go through this time together.
Yes, likewise. Uh, so, sir, I have this one question regarding this psychotherapy. What is this profession all about? You told me that you counsel romantic relationships, parental relationships, and many more. Is this all about psychotherapy, or it has more to it? What is it all about?
So it's like a window cleaning service for the mind, the way
Okay.
I look at it. So if your windows are dirty, it doesn't matter if you're in Kashmir or whether you're outside Kanjurmarg station near a bunch of stray dogs. Because your window is dirty, you will not be able to see what is outside. Because your window is dirty, what you see outside will be contaminated by the fact that the glass surface through which you are looking outside is dirty. It has spots, it has marks. So, a window cleaning service for the mind so that you can look at things with more clarity, more precision, and a little more objectivity so that we don't get sucked into these emotional vortexes. We are all so hung up about what happened in the past that we tend to get carried away and we lose our focus in the present, because it is
Mm.
through the decisions you make in the present that you can create a future of significance to yourself. You can create a future you actually
Right.
enjoy, actually love, actually feel proud of.
Correct.
So that's what psychotherapy is
Okay.
about. It's essentially the pain removal business, but also the
Mhm.
clarity giving business, helping people see
Okay.
things from a new perspective, a clean perspective, without any contaminations.
Okay. So if I'm not wrong, you're the Shah Rukh Khan from Dear Zindagi, right?
The Shah Rukh Khan is the Dr. Aman Bhonsle from Real Zindagi.
Acha, okay, got it. Got it, got it. How long have you been practicing the psychotherapy?
Well, I'd say I've crossed the 6 year mark now. Prior to this, I was an advertising professional. So
Oh.
I was doing that for a very long time. I did it for 10 years, and it was a good time. I worked in Mumbai, I worked in Malaysia, I worked in a rainforest in Malaysia, actually, in a bloody jungle, and in Singapore, which is an urban jungle, a different kind of jungle. And,
Hmm.
as much as I enjoyed television, I think
Yeah.
several, incidents in my life sort of oriented me towards a change of perspective, a change of career. And here I am, now a psychotherapist, crossed my 500th client uh, recently, in fact. So, yeah, that's what I do. I try to help.
Congratulations on that. Congratulations on the 500th client. Do you mind me asking what are your educational qualifications?
Well, I did an MBA in communications management, and then I did a PhD in psychotherapy, specializing in transactional analysis for corporates. So that was what my dissertation was on. Prior to that, I
Okay.
actually did a bachelor's in mass media. So I was a communications student, and then I moved into psychology because it's something I'm deeply passionate about. It's also something my family has a track record of sort of practicing. My mom and dad are both counselors. We have a setup, so I decided that I was well into my late 20s and early 30s when I wanted to join them full time after completing my training, and that's where the change of career came in.
So, if I ask you today, what's your daily schedule like? Are you taking clients these days?
Yeah, every day, man, every day of the week except Sundays.
Okay.
And now I'm trying to take a weekday off as well, so I can get 2 days off. But there's a good bit of work, and I don't want anyone to feel like they haven't gotten their time with me. So sometimes that day of the week it spills over. So I try to have a light day. But yes,
Right.
I typically wake up at about 8 o'clock. I have, with age, you got to start taking care of your health a bit more. So I have this god awful tasting thing called wild amla and karela jamun and wheat grass, and it's supposed to apparently,
Okay.
I don't know, do shit for you. It's supposed to make you feel good. So I do that. I have an egg white omelet mostly. Then I try to exercise if I have some time, or if I have clients from the US, I usually begin my day seeing them. I sit around this chair, meeting people, talking to people, have lunch at home because I am at home. This is my home office. And
Hmm.
well, by the evening, my wife and I usually just catch up. Either we meet friends or watch a movie, or just get social or meet our families. It's a very simple life.
Okay. So, fair enough. My question to you here is that what's being a psychotherapist? You have to have a clear perspective towards things, right? You can't have a vague perspective towards what is right, what is wrong. If I'm not wrong,
That's
correct me if
yeah.
I'm wrong. That's
Mhm.
right. So,
Yeah.
doctor, how what's your perspective towards life? What's your philosophy towards life? What's the perfect life for you?
Try to find peace and try to have fun. It's really that simple. Try to find peace,
Okay.
try to have fun. Try to have fun because you have a limited number of years here. We don't know how much or how long we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
So, wouldn't it be nice if the journey was one big adventure rather than one big task that simply doesn't finish? Wouldn't it be nice if we could all just hang out, have a good evening, talk with a little more respect, regard, empathy, care, sensitivity, patience? Wouldn't that be
Right.
nice? Right. So, you know, try to have fun, try to find peace.
Okay.
Because I think peace is being sold in variety of pieces by various people. Somebody says, "Oh, when you become rich, have the house, the country club membership, the car, the beautiful wife, the white
Yeah.
picket fence, the pedigreed dog, then you will find happiness." But then, by that logic, the richest people in the world would be the happiest, but that isn't the case. We know enough about that as well. So, what the hell is this journey of peace, and why is it so elusive? Why is it that everyone who seems to talk about it is so hard
Mm-hmm.
to reach or so expensive to reach? So, is there really some great secret? These are the
Okay.
questions that sort of gets me into gear. Because I never claim to be someone who knows everything, who has conquered everything. I claim to be someone who's in search. I'm in a constant state of search, of learning, of growing. And I don't mind accepting defeat, or saying, hey, you know what? I don't know what's happening right now. And I think that is something I'm very proud of about myself, this ability to just sort of absorb things from anywhere and everywhere. So, how do you keep your neutrality? You had asked, right? You keep your neutrality by being a collector of different perspectives. So if you have a certain perspective, you should have another one that should be able to competently challenge it. And there is no such thing as right and wrong. There is only helpful and unhelpful, appropriate, inappropriate, functional, dysfunctional, tedious, and easy. These are the more accurate words. In psychotherapy, we try to not look at things as good or bad. Like any good investigator or detective, try to dig into the past, try to look at all the clues presented to you, and try to not be in a rush to prove how smart you are. All right?
Okay. So I would assume that you keep your perspectives flexible to the situations,
Absolutely.
if I'm not wrong,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So, sir, India as a country has been lagging behind in the happiness index. If I'm not like,
Right.
you might know
That's
about it.
absolutely
Like
right.
we have a rank of around 160 or something. I don't know the exact
Acha.
figure, but it's around that.
All
So,
right.
why do you think this is the case, and why are Scandinavian countries really happy?
Well, for one, they're not as densely populated as us, and their population is largely homogenous because they speak the same language. I think one of India's greatest challenges is we struggle so hard to even understand each other. For any policy
Hmm.
to be implemented at a uniform level for everyone, at least the medium of instruction in which that policy is communicated has to be understood by everyone. Your northeastern states don't speak very good Hindi. Your southern states don't speak very good Hindi. And if you suggest it is the national language, it'll piss off, hundreds and hundreds of people. So how do you get anything done where people don't even speak the same language? We're a continent masquerading as a country. This is our number one problem. Illiteracy, socio-economic divides. The rich keep getting richer, the poor keep getting poorer. Look what happened to our migrant workers during COVID. Do you think it was fair?
Right.
It was for everyone to see. The less said, the better.
Hmm.
It was easy for the rich to stay huddled in their high rises, order their chickens, muttons, and make Dalgona coffee, reels on Instagram, and post workout videos, and take the first flight out to Dubai. What happens to people who struggle to reach home and have to walk the entire distance because public transport has been seized, has been stopped because of a government directive? What do you do about those people? So, why are the Scandinavian countries happy? They're less people, they all understand each other. The government actually takes excellent care of infrastructure, so connectivity, road traffic situations, cleanliness on the streets, play areas for children, free education. These are all contributing factors. If you go to New Zealand, of course, that's not a Scandinavian country. After 4:30, 5 o'clock, they go shoot golf, they go fishing, they tend to their gardens, which are in their backyard. It's a concept that sounds so foreign and unheard of in a place like India. Out here, the longer you work, the more you slog, the more you convince everyone around you how much you're suffering to get good work done, the more apparently competent you are at being an adult or a responsible professional. Isn't that a little sad? And then we wonder why people are unhappy. Look at what we have done to our coastline in Mumbai. Look at what the hell has happened to our streets. The amount of digging, the amount of traffic, people without good homes to live in, institutional corruption at every level, municipal, government, private sector, public sector. How are you going to find people in a state of happiness if they are overworked, if they are underpaid, if they have to struggle to get around, if their means of entertainment are restricted to expensive food or expensive movie options, and they don't have open public parks?
Right.
Or if there is a public park, it gets overcrowded or overrun with street dogs. Where is the respect for our heritage? Our monuments are in a horrible state. Look at the forts of Shivaji Maharaj, completely riddled with beer bottles, people taking a shit near the Ajanta and Ellora. All kinds of dirt has crept in. Look at our Taj Mahal. Look at the doodles and scribblings on the marble if you visit. So there is also a lack of respect for heritage. There's a lack of institutional rigor when it comes to enforcing policies. And even if you had a great policy, there's always a lobby that's pissed off, that's impeding all progress because it pisses off the people who comprise their vote bank. So what the hell do you do? It's a deadlock. It's a stalemate.
True. According to me, I see this as this one scenario where in people in India are the basic concept of life, the definition of life is different for everyone, and this one definition prevails for all, that life, a happy life means money. And I guess
Hmm.
that's something which where we are going wrong. People don't take out time to enjoy their lives. Am I right?
Well, I think enjoyment is a very personal experience for everyone. Some people say,
Right.
what do you enjoy? They'll say, I enjoy earning money. I enjoy being the top dog in my organization. I enjoy cracking complicated puzzles. Another person may say,
Mhm.
what do you enjoy? They say, I enjoy gardening. I enjoy cooking. I enjoy long naps. I enjoy longer walks. I enjoy drives in the rain. So we can't prescribe to a population of people as diverse as we are in India what they should enjoy or they shouldn't enjoy. But yes, it would be nice to have everyone sort of, have everyone explore various dimensions of life. Not just earning money is a very significant dimension of life, but what happens to your health? What happens to having friends? What happens to travel? What happens to, the sheer joy of being in nature? What happens to all of that? So these are
Right.
interesting questions to ask. How do we build a happier population? We don't. You focus on being a happy individual, and if every person focuses on being happy as an individual, you get a happier population. People are so, burdened by tasks that they don't have even a minute to sit down and ask themselves significant questions about what do they really want from their lives. This is a very
Hmm.
difficult question. Try asking this to somebody on the street. What do you want from your life? It can't be an object. It can't be an experience. It can't be a person. It can't be a possession. What do you want from your life? And watch how many people struggle with this.
Right.
My life philosophy, I want fun and I want peace. That's about it. It's simple enough. It's achievable. It's worth pursuing, I think. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, even if I ask this question to myself, that what do I want from life, I see this as a, journey of answering this question, because uh, prior to my college life, I had no clue what I wanted from my life. I was just like, I have to make money, because being a, being a kid at a Bania family, and a upper middle class Bania family, we tend to see that money is a very important driving force of the life, right? But as I
Yeah.
entered college, I realized when I started Koi Nahi Baat Batao, will be hitting 2 years this year, on 16th of May. So when I started Koi Nahi Baat Batao, when I posted, 3 to 4 podcasts, I realized that people actually gain value from it, right?
Yeah.
And I was able to create impact on people's life. So this
Hmm.
word impact is what I'm looking for in my life. I want to create an impact. May it be through money,
Wonderful.
may it be through content, may it be through anything. I just want to
Sure.
create an impact. मतलब लोग, अगर 4 लोग भी मुझे आके ये बोल रहे हैं कि this literally changed my life, this changed my thought process, this changed my perspective towards a particular thing. So that's it. I'm very happy with my life then. And I've
Fantastic.
realized
I
this,
think.
that when I got this answer for myself, life kind of become more clearer,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
So this is what I think about it, and looking for this answer is really important.
It's the single greatest quest of your life to find out what you're all about, to find out what
Right.
does your journey represent, not just for you, but for those who come into contact with you.
Hmm.
एक वो सवाल होता है ना कि यार मैं क्या चीज हूँ, अमन भोसले क्या चीज है. It's a question that I
Hmm.
have to ask myself every day, and I have to resolve that query also with myself every day. Okay, what do I represent for myself? The world is okay. They will wait. They will not wait for me to come around and convey my great decision on what I want from life. But you
Correct.
see, the way I see it, there is a certain, जिसे कहते हैं ना, सीजन. अभी मैंगो सीजन चल रहा है, तो इस सीजन में आपको बहुत खूबसूरत आम मिलेंगे. इसका आप आमरस बनाइए, इसका आप मैंगो चटनी बनाइए, इसको ऐसे ही खाइए गुठली के साथ, यू नो, दबोच के खाइए. इसकी आप स्मूदी बनाइए. लाइफ इज लाइक दैट मैंगो. एक सीजन है यार, जब आप जिंदा हो, जब आपका दिमाग चल रहा है, जब आपका शरीर चल रहा है, जब लोग आपकी चार बातें सुनेंगे. तो इस सीजन में आपको क्या करना है यार? There are so many things you can do. The humble mango can be turned into so many different things. The same way your life can be turned into so many different things. It's like a piece of clay. You can build a bowl out of it, और उसमें आप खाना खाइए. You can build a statue out of it, और उसको आप देखिए कि क्या खूबसूरत स्टैचू है. You can build a house out of it, and people can live in it and protect themselves from the rain, from the cold. But है तो मिट्टी ना भाई. Ultimately, life is raw material, and you are the artist. How do you want to craft a life? People say, "Oh, I've lived my life." People say, "Oh, I have analyzed my life." I say, "But have you crafted your life? Have you designed the damn thing? Or are you just sitting and becoming a cheap Xerox copy of the people who came before you? Sasta copy." तुम अपने बाप या दादा के सस्ते कॉपी बन गए हो, क्योंकि ओरिजिनल तो वो है, तो तुम क्या हो?
Hmm.
If you just repeat the things you have heard, if you just become, and this is with everyone, I think everyone for a certain period of their life becomes a cheap knockoff of the people who came before them. And it is a truly exhilarating but also frustrating experience to sometimes try to discover who are you and what are you all about? What do you represent? And what do you want to craft? What do you want to design? हर कोई यहाँ पे इस दुनिया में एक कारीगर है भाई, कुछ तो बनाना है आपको। अभी उस चीज को आप छोड़ के जाओगे या वो आपके साथ खत्म हो जाएगी, डजंट मैटर, बिकॉज आपके जाने के बाद इट डजंट मैटर व्हाट दे डू विद व्हाट यू हैव लेफ्ट, यू हैव लेफ्ट नथिंग। सीजन था, आप आए, आपने कुछ किया और फिर सीजन खत्म, एंड ऑफ शो।
Okay. So while you were speaking, I had this one query in mind. Rather, I'd say a question that what's your biggest fear in life? What do you fear the
Oh, I think
most?
I think my biggest fear is losing the people I love. My wife, my mom, my dad. Because very often we like who we become around those people, isn't it? They bring out some wonderful
Right.
things out of us. And there's
I
that
agree.
fear that in their absence, what is going to be left behind? क्योंकि आपका जो एक हिस्सा है, आपकी जो जान है, उनमें अटकी हुई है काफी हद तक। तो जब वो ही नहीं रहे, तो क्या बचा? What are you left with? So that is a question I sometimes think about. And what will I become if I am no longer around people whom I can care for, whom I can love, or who do the same for me?
Right. Right. Okay. And who inspires you the most?
I really derive can be very honest, I derive inspiration from everywhere. Yeah. Sometimes you meet a 7-year-old kid and he can also inspire you. Yeah. You know, I remember I met a kid once and he was skating, and he fell down, and my natural instinct was to go and help him up. So I went, I said, "Hey, but are you okay?" He said, "Ah, uncle, I'm fine." I said, "You don't have to be brave. Lagi to bol. Where's your house? I'll drop you." He said, "Uncle, today I have fallen. Tomorrow I won't fall. It's just for today." And that moment was so powerful for me. I said, 7 साल का बच्चा है यार, अपने पिछवाड़े पे गिरा हुआ है। He's saying, मैं आज गिरा हूँ, जरूर गिरा हूँ, कल नहीं गिरूंगा। तो उसके अंदर एक, पता नहीं, एक गर्मी है साले में कि मैं कल नहीं गिरूंगा। आई विल get the damn thing figured out so I don't fall. So I seek inspiration from everyone and everything. I find street dogs extremely inspirational. Yeah. Can you imagine a 2-year-old human versus a 2-year-old dog? Who do you think has a better chance of surviving in the street? I'll give full marks to the dog. He can see in the dark, he can run. Sometimes a street dog also inspires me. I'm like, इनको डंडे के साथ सिक्योरिटी वाले भगा देते हैं. Practically wherever they are sleeping, some car or vehicle is there's a constant risk बेचारे कि उनके ऊपर कोई हमला हो जाए या कोई पुलिस भगाएंगे या उनके ऊपर बाइक चली जाएगी. But just look at how bindas they are यार. What I love
Hmm.
about them is they're like हो जाएगा कर लेंगे. Even a रास्ते का कुत्ता
Right.
इंस्पायर कर सकता है आपको if you know what you're looking for.
That was really
People
fascinating. Okay.
Many people usually say, "Oh, I'm inspired by my mother and my father." Of course, you can derive inspiration from the home. या आपको किसी सेलिब्रिटी से आपको इंस्पिरेशन मिल गई कि अरे यार मुझे कियानो रीव्स बहुत इंस्पायरिंग लगता है. ठीक है, ये सारे लोग इंस्पायरिंग है, बट ऐसे can a piece of dirt inspire you? I mean, it sounds crazy. A plastic bag can be a teacher. Yeah, you look at that plastic bag. Whatever you do to it, you try to burn it, hit it with lightning, pour water on it, it just floats. It just floats. If it was alive, what do you think it would say to us? It would say, अभी भी मैं हूँ भाई, अभी भी मैं हूँ।
Hmm.
कुछ भी करने की कोशिश करूं मैं अभी भी हूँ। इतना आसान नहीं है भाई। यू पुट वाटर इन मी, शिट इन मी, मड इन मी, नथिंग इन मी, मैं अभी भी हूँ।
Right.
अब फ्रिकिंग प्लास्टिक बैग, नहीं बैन हो गया प्लास्टिक यहाँ पे शायद, लेकिन होंगे लोगों के घर में। इंडियंस वी लव टू बचाओ ना प्लास्टिक बैग। ये कोई नई चीज से प्लास्टिक नहीं निकालते। बनना है तो
Correct.
प्लास्टिक की तरह बनिए। Anyone may do anything to you, but your structure doesn't get changed even for a second. You can fill anything in plastic, use it for anything. But plastic is plastic. ये जो है वो है. So I find even that a very inspiring thought. कि जो आप हो वो आप हो. दुनिया कुछ भी बोले कि तुम लल्लू हो, तुम useless हो, you're a crazy bugger, you're a complete waste of talent, a waste of life. But I'm like the
Okay.
plastic bag. यार. मैं हूँ अभी भी. बाकी आने जाने दो जो भी होता है.
Okay. So, according to you, what's the most significant psychological problem faced by the teens of this age, of this generation,
Self
the
doubt.
Gen Z, which you call
Self
it?
doubt. Self
Okay.
doubt is the cancer of the mind, I call it. They have such low self esteem, such low confidence, and that is leading to self doubt. मतलब आपको खुद पे ही भरोसा नहीं है, लेकिन आप ये चाहते हो कि पूरी दुनिया आप पे भरोसा करे. That's hilarious. You don't believe in yourself, but you want every person of the opposite gender who you are attracted to have faith in you when you don't have faith in yourself. How does that work?
Correct.
People are so conditioned by their families and societies and teachers to think a certain way, to be a certain way, to believe in certain things, that they never ask themselves the question, do I even like this stuff? Does this stuff even make sense to me? Does this something that even I want to be associated with? Is this something that can make my life better? नहीं, कोई बोल रहा है और आप कर रहे हो. You know,
Hmm.
just being obedient but not being inquisitive. And then you're filled with self
Okay.
doubt because that dissonance between who you are and what you are being asked to become has become so wide. That dissonance has become such a huge issue. आपको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि आपको क्या करना है, कि मैं क्या हूं, मैं क्यों ऐसा कर रहा हूं. People becoming engineers, getting their MBAs, cracking competitive entrance exams, and you ask them what are you passionate about? Just look at the blank expression on their faces. Passion क्या होता है?
Right.
हमारे घर में पैसा मालूम है, पैशन नहीं मालूम.
Hmm.
जब तक आमिर खान थ्री इडियट्स में आके बोलेगा नहीं आपको कि जो दिल से करना है वो कर लो, तब
Hmm.
तक यही कोलू के बैल बने फिरोगे आप, रनिंग इन सर्कल्स.
Okay. सर, जब आप हमारी एज के थे, आप जब 2021 में थे, आपको सेल्फ डाउट नहीं होता था आपकी जनरेशन को या उसके पहले वाली जनरेशन को, और फॉर ऑल द
सब
जनरेशंस टू से?
सारे जनरेशन को सेल्फ डाउट होता था. अब हमारे पास डिस्कॉर्ड और ट्विटर नहीं था बस, तो इसके बारे में बकते नहीं थे हम. इसके ऊपर
हाँ.
इंस्टा स्टोरियां नहीं बनती थी कि "हे, मेरी ब्रेकअप हो गई, मेरी किस्मत फूटी, मेरी पैर टूटी, चल झूठी." ये सारे चीजें हम, इसका विज्ञापन नहीं होता था. वी डिडंट एडवर्टाइज आवर इमोशंस एज मच. मेरे टाइम में यार वी हैड एक हम्बल सा MSN मैसेंजर होता था, याहू मैसेंजर होता था. मोबाइल फोन्स नए थे तो व्हाट्सएप और ब्लैकबेरी मैसेंजर उसके पहले की वो चीजें आई नहीं थी. तो द ओनली टाइम यू कुड चैट वाज इफ यू गो ऑनलाइन. तो वहां बैठना पड़ता था, रुकना पड़ता था, जैसे नुक्कड़ पे खड़े होते हैं ना लोग. तो MSN मैसेंजर वाज अ वर्चुअल नुक्कड़, कि होपफुली जो लड़की हमको पसंद है वो ऑनलाइन आएगी, और अगर ऑनलाइन आएगी तो हम चैट करेंगे, और अगर करेंगे तो उत्तर की अपेक्षा है. तो इस इंतजार में एक दो घंटे निकल जाते थे. ये नहीं कि मैसेज कर दिया और जब पढ़ेगी मुझे मेरे ब्लू टिक मार्क्स मिल जाएंगे और मुझे बड़ी सुकून से मैं सोऊंगा फिर जवाब देकर. दैट सर्टेनिटी वाज नॉट देयर. या तो आमने सामने जाके बात करो इफ यू हैड अ क्रश ऑन अ गर्ल, या तो MSN मैसेंजर पे उसका बेसब्री से इंतजार करो. या तो फोन उठाओ और उसके 10 घर वालों से पहले बात करो, क्योंकि नॉट एवरीवन हैड मोबाइल फोन्स बैक देन. So if you called up someone, first her brother will pick up, then her mother will take the phone, then her father will speak. So by the time you get to the person you want to talk to, already आपके 20 मिनट खराब हो गए.
Correct.
So these are things maybe you guys think is, ancient history, but भाई मैंने वो देखा है जमाना. Where you have to really, really, really wait to have even a 10-minute chat with someone. ये नहीं कि मैसेज भेज दिया वो जरूर पड़ेगी. उसको पॉप अप नोटिफिकेशंस जैसी कोई चीज ही नहीं थी वो जमाने में. लॉक स्क्रीन, होम स्क्रीन, कुछ नहीं था. इट वाज वेरी सिंपल यार. एंड एसएमएसेस यूज्ड टू कॉस्ट अ लॉट मोर मनी. तो इफ यू सेंड टू मेनी मैसेजेस, आपकी मोबाइल बिल बहुत ज्यादा आती थी. फिर घर पे सवाल, क्यों
Hmm.
इतना हाई आया है, क्यों ये हो रहा है, क्यों वो हो रहा है.
So back then इस सेल्फ डाउट वाली प्रॉब्लम का क्या सोल्यूशन था और आज क्या है, एंड व्हाट्स द डिफरेंस?
किस किस चीज का सोल्यूशन, से अगेन सॉरी.
सेल्फ डाउट.
सोल्यूशन ये है कि बाहर की दुनिया की हर बात को सच मत मानो यार. थोड़ा अपना भी दिमाग यूज करो. Don't depend on anyone. Create your own resources, build your own networks, make your own money, live your own truth, create your own pace, and find your own voice.
Okay.
Because नहीं तो आप गुमराह हो जाओगे. You will get bloody lost in the chaos and noise of the outside world. Public opinion, culture, लोग क्या कहेंगे, घर वालों की सोच. क्या होता है ना, is we all eventually get our opinions get fossilized. फॉसिल नहीं होती, आर्कियोलॉजिस्ट ढूंढ लेता है पुरानी चीज.
हाँ
तो
हाँ.
हमारी जो सोच होती है ना, it usually becomes a reflection of the era in which we were growing up.
Okay.
फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर कोई बुजुर्ग आपको बोलता है कि एक लड़का लड़की हाथ नहीं पकड़ सकते शादी के पहले, क्योंकि उनके
Hmm.
जमाने में 1950s में ये अलाउड नहीं था, तो उनको लग रहा है कि अभी भी 1950s चल रहा है.
Hmm.
तो उनको ये पूछिए कि अंकल आपके जमाने में तो व्हाट्सएप भी नहीं था, लेकिन आज सुबह आपने जोक भेजे 10 लोगों को, फिर तो आपको वो भी नहीं करना चाहिए, क्योंकि वो भी उस जमाने में नहीं था. चलते हुए पोस्ट ऑफिस तक जाइए और पत्र पोस्ट कीजिए, व्हाट्सएप मत भेजिए. एक एक जोक रोज जाके पोस्ट ऑफिस में जाके दीजिए. बिकॉज व्हाट हैपेंस इज वी गेट फॉसिलाइज्ड. एंड क्या है ना, वी बिकम वेरी सेल्फ कॉन्ग्रेचुलेटरी. हमको ऐसा लगता है कि भाई जो मैं सोच रहा हूँ वही सच है, जो मुझे चाहिए वही अच्छा है,
Hmm.
जो मेरे लोग हैं वही अच्छे लोग हैं, वही जानने लायक है, वही दिल के साफ है. बाकी दुनिया में पता नहीं कैसे लोग हैं. दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम. We need to stop being so arrogant about what we know and start being more curious about what we don't know.
Right. So, personally, how do you maintain a balance between your work life and your professional life? Because that's something which people, specifically, if I talk about India, it's a major issue. Because work has been considered as, the major part of the life, and your personal life gets suppressed by that. So, how do you personally maintain that balance between your work life and your the personal life?
Personal life. So work life and personal life जो होता है ना, see these are just labels. The way I look at it is आप ultimately numbers के साथ खेल रहे हो. How many hours do you want to dedicate to a pursuit that earns you money, and how many hours do you want to allocate to a pursuit that brings you joy, freedom, and a sort of connection with your inner being and who you are and what you love.
ओके सर, मैंने कहीं पे सुना था, मुझे किसी ने ये बोला था कि जो साइकोथेरेपिस्ट होते हैं, हर साइकोथेरेपिस्ट थेरेपी पे जाता है, मतलब खुद थेरेपी भी लेता है. इज दैट ट्रू? एंड इफ यस, देन व्हाई?
So you mean does every psychotherapist require their own therapist? Is that the question?
या.
See, if you're a chef, you will still go to other restaurants to eat, isn't it? If you're a doctor and you fall sick, you'll still need another doctor, isn't it?
यस.
Similarly, sometimes what happens is for lack of a better word, people have their head up their own ass. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you become so stuck with the way you see things that you don't have someone to come and grab you by the shoulders and say, "अरे ऐसा नहीं है रे, ऐसा नहीं है." एक दूसरा भी पैतरा है, एक दूसरा भी solution है, एक दूसरा
Hmm.
एक दूसरी सच्चाई है. So sometimes the
Okay.
only person to be able to do that effectively is another trained therapist, isn't it? You know, there's this
Hmm.
Amitabh Bachchan movie called Chini Kam, where he's a chef in a restaurant, but when he comes home, वो अपनी माँ के हाथ का ही खाना खाता है.
Hmm.
Even though he's a chef and he runs a very famous restaurant, at home he's having gobi aloo made by his mother, and he's complaining कि नमक कम है.
Okay.
So I think everyone needs someone who they can turn to in moments of crisis. That also plugs into the fact that we are social beings, isn't it?
Right. So, do you go for therapy or do you have a therapist for yourself? Like that might be your wife or your parents or what's
Well,
like it?
I turn to people I respect. I respect my wife. I have a close friend I talk to. I also have a
Okay.
family doctor who's known me since I was 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So these are some people I talk to when I'm in a moment of crisis, which is not very often, but there are moments where I'm vulnerable or I'm a bit tired or I'm doubting myself.
Okay.
If I doubt myself, I need someone to tell me, bro, you're awesome. Don't worry. बढ़िया कर रहे हो, ठीक कर रहे हो, सब ठीक हो जाएगा.
Right. Okay. What's your source of entertainment?
Netflix, books, PlayStation 4, traveling, sleeping,
Okay.
getting a nice massage. Don't judge me, but I love getting pedicures. Sounds
Okay.
very frivolous, but I love my feet feeling like, like they're made out of butter. At least for 2 hours, they'll feel that way. I have a
Yeah.
variety of interests, man. I love board games. I love sketching. I love writing.
So how often do you take out time to, pursue an entertainment or source of entertainment? Every day?
Every day, if I can help it. Just a short time where I can give myself the right to be Aman and not Dr. Aman, you know,
Hmm.
where I can step out of the professional role I find myself in, just be a regular guy, watch an action movie, listen to music.
Yeah. What has your childhood been like?
Oh, it was absolute shit, if you ask me, objectively. Because चूना बहुत लोगों ने लगाया यार, ध्रुव. बहुत ही उल्लू बनाया
At least
लोगों ने.
explain.
Most of the teachers, यार, I feel a lot of teachers in Indian schools are legitimate sociopaths. Like, मतलब उन पे एक Netflix की true crime documentary बननी चाहिए. वे काफी दरिंदे type होते हैं यार. They're really bullies. They will call you by names. They will humiliate you. They will physically beat you.
Yeah.
They'll question your family background. They'll question how you look, and they will ask you questions about all kinds of other things that don't concern them. Like we used to have a
Hmm.
PT teacher who checked our nails and our shoes. I said, but he's not a
Hmm.
grooming consultant. His job is to make us do dumbbells and march past and run around the field and play dodgeball. What makes him
Hmm.
an expert on how shoes should be or how nails should be?
So, do you think Indian education system needs an improvement, and in what aspects, in your
अभी तो आ
opinion?
गया है ना यार. हमारे टाइम में कहाँ था IGCSE. हमारे टाइम में कहाँ इंटरनेशनल स्कूल्स या वर्ल्ड अकेडमीज कहाँ थे. We didn't have white people teaching us. We had Mrs.
Hmm.
Kulkarni and Mrs. Singh, जिसकी लाठी एक पुलिस वाले की लाठी से भी ज्यादा लगती थी. आपका शरीर भी एक मतलब 7 या 8 साल के बच्चे का शरीर है. अब बहुत इजीली इंजर भी
Hmm.
होता है, isn't it?
Correct.
You know, being made to feel horrible for having a friend. तू उसके साथ मत बैठ, इसके साथ बैठ. So I felt teachers and adults were given a lot of sort of power in my life. My parents were awesome. They were really supportive, yeah. But I had extended family that was, suffering their own plights. Either there was jealousy, or they didn't like how I was, or I was too vocal or argumentative or opinionated for them.
Mm-hmm.
So there was always that feeling कि यार तू जो भी कर रहा है ना ये लोगों को नहीं अच्छा लग रहा है. So there was a lot of self doubt. I didn't enjoy my childhood because I wasn't like the other boys यार. अभी सारे लौंडे क्रिकेट खेलेंगे, फुटबॉल खेलेंगे, मैं लाइब्रेरी में बैठ के यूएफओज और zombies और भूतों पे बुक्स पढ़ूंगा. The boys used to run after girls. I used to try to steal art material from the school art supply क्योंकि मुझे ड्राइंग का शौक था. मुझे चारकोल चाहिए थी. हमारे स्कूल में कुछ ऐसे फालतू रूल्स थे कि आप अगर जूनियर स्कूल के हो तो आपको छोटी ड्राइंग बुक मिलेगी, और आप सीनियर स्कूल के हो तो आपको बड़ी ड्राइंग बुक मिलेगी. मुझे बड़ी ड्राइंग बुक चाहिए थी, मुझे चारकोल चाहिए था. तो आई यूज्ड टू रन ऐसे खिड़की से. आई यूज्ड टू जंप इनटू द आर्ट सप्लाई रूम इन माय बोर्डिंग स्कूल टू स्टील आर्ट मटेरियल कि यार मुझे तो सिर्फ तस्वीरें. आई वांट टू जस्ट ड्रॉ यार. आई वुड ड्रॉ द माउंटेन्स. आई वुड ड्रॉ फ्री पोर्ट्रेट्स फॉर पीपल. That was the kind of boy I was, yeah. So I didn't really fit into the crowd की क्रिकेट मैच, फुटबॉल मैच. एक बार क्या हुआ था ध्रुव, मुझे किसी ने फुटबॉल प्रैक्टिस पे भेजा था व्हेन आई वाज वेरी स्मॉल. मतलब आई मस्ट हैव बीन 6-7 years old. तो फुटबॉल कोचिंग होती थी मेरे नानी के यहाँ. तो मुझे किसी ने रूल्स नहीं समझाए. तो मैं पता है क्या देख रहा हूँ कि दो चीजें हैं जिसको लोग गोल बोलते हैं, और उसमें जब बॉल जाती है तो सब चिल्लाते हैं खुशी से. मुझे ये किसी ने नहीं बोला था कि एक ही बॉल है जिसके पीछे दोनों टीम्स को compete करना है, ये हमारा गोल या उनका गोल. आई जस्ट थॉट 11 people on this side and that side are running after one ball, and when it enters this net everyone becomes happy. मेरे को यही पता था. तो मैंने एक बार कोच साहब को जाके बोला कि ये बेवकूफ लोग एक बॉल के पीछे क्यों भाग रहे हैं. सब एक एक बॉल लेके आओ अपने घर से, और जितनी बारी किक करना है उस जाली में करो किक, और फिर खुशी रहो. ये क्यों, ऐसी क्यों बात है. वो सिर्फ एक बार जा रही है जाली में पिछले आधे घंटे में, तो एक ही बार खुश हो रहे हैं. हर 2-2 मिनट किक करो जाली के अंदर यार, कितनी खुशी वाली बात होगी. कोच ने बोला चल भाई, कुछ भी बोलता है. आई डिडंट नो दैट एक होम गोल होता है, एक अदर गोल होता है, कि उनके गोल में किक करना होता है तो मार्क्स मिलते तो लोग खुश होते, और हमारे गोल को डिफेंड करना होता है. ये तो किसी ने बताया ही नहीं था. तो एक बार मेरे पैरों पे बॉल आ गया. तो मैंने बोला अरे यार ये वाला नेट तो पीछे, मेरे पीछे, चलो इधर ही मार देते हैं, ये चार लोग खुश हो जाएंगे. मैंने अपने होम के गोल के अंदर ही किक कर लिया. मेरे जान के पीछे पड़ गए 2 दिन के लिए. यू आर सो स्टूपिड, यू आर सो दिस. आई सेड यू आर स्टूपिड यार, एक बॉल के पीछे भागते हो धूप में, अच्छी खासी एयर कंडीशनिंग छोड़ के, पागल कुत्तों की तरह रोज खेलते हो और रोज रोते हो कि मुझे बॉल नहीं दिया, मुझे क्यों तुमने पास नहीं किया. टू फाइंड इट वेरी स्ट्रेंज यार. ऐसे क्या, क्यों मैं क्यों धूप में भागूं, क्यों एक बॉल के पीछे मेरे जिंदगी के 2 घंटे खराब हो. तो ऐसी मेरी सोच थी. आई डिडंट लाइक द कॉम्पिटिटिवनेस. आई सेड व्हाई कम्पीट. ऐसा तो है नहीं कि उनमें से कोई पेले मैराडोना बन गया है यार आज की तारीख में.
Mm.
None of them have become professional soccer players. बट चलो टीम वर्क भी कोई चीज है. वंडरफुल. स्पोर्ट्स खेल रहे हो तो फिटनेस और टीम वर्क के लिए जरूर खेलिए. दिस इज नॉट मी सेइंग डोंट प्ले स्पोर्ट्स. जरूर खेलिए. फिटनेस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. टीम वर्क भी बहुत अच्छी चीज है. बट यार रूल्स तो क्लियर हो. So what I didn't like as a child is people never clarified the rules.
Right.
And they kept changing the rules. Adults would do this. अगर कोई अडल्ट आपको मारता है तो
Mm.
इट्स ओके क्योंकि आप बदतमीज हो. आप एक अडल्ट को मारे तो वो ठीक नहीं है. मैं बोला क्यों भाई, तुम भी तो बदतमीज थे. तुमने मुझे बंदर बोला, तुमने बोला कि यू लुक लाइक अ भंगी, तुमने मुझे बोला कि यार यू टॉक टू मच, तुमने मेरे फैमिली पे सवाल उठाया, तुमने मेरे दोस्त का मजाक उड़ाया, तुमने स्कूल यूनिफॉर्म पे उंगली उठाई, तुमने मेरे हैंड राइटिंग को क्रिटिसाइज किया. भाई ये बदतमीजी नहीं है.
Mm.
मैं साइज में छोटा, तुम साइज में बड़े, लेकिन गुनाह तो वही है ना बॉस. I'll tell you something. I didn't like as a child to be told how I'm supposed to feel about someone else. मुझे कभी अच्छा नहीं लगता
Okay.
था. I said I will decide how I want to feel about you. You don't need to tell me to respect you or stand for you or love you. I will decide how I feel about you. You don't have to tell me. If I like you, you will know. If I don't like you, I'll stay away. Now, you were saying something. I am what?
I I think you were more of a curious kid, if I'm not wrong.
Always. I'm still a curious kid, just stuck in an old man's body. Old as in 37 years old. I'm still a curious kid,
Okay.
just with a lot more hair and a nice car. That's about it.
Okay. With the advent of artificial intelligence and chat GPT to say in modern days, I've realized that curiosity has to be a very important and integral part of your life, because curiosity gives you more information. More information gives you more creativity and a thought process. Because after I got to know about chat GPT, वो टैब हमेशा खुला रहता है मेरे लैपटॉप में, एंड इट्स ऑलवेज लाइक मुझे लेट्स से कोई भी चीज़ के बारे में क्यूरियोसिटी है, लेट्स से गिटार गिटार बजता है, ठीक है, गिटार में से साउंड आता है, वो कैसे होता है, वो
हाँ,
क्यों होता है, इसके बारे में
ठीक
किसी
है.
ने सोचा कैसे. So I just ask ChatGPT because you have a personal teacher with you all the time.
Absolutely. It's wonderful, isn't it? A personal teacher who doesn't tell you what you should be knowing, should have known, how much you deserve to know, but that just funnels information your way without contamination, without bias, without judgment, without any stoppage, and without any wastage of time. Solely based on curiosity. अरे वो चैट जीपीटी खुद भी बहुत क्यूरियस है. उसको ना वो
हाँ
लैंग्वेज
राइट.
लर्निंग मॉडल, वो एग्रीगेटर है इंफॉर्मेशन का. So it is able to repackage pre-existing data in a way that is, uh, digestible for you in service of your query, isn't it? So I think it's wonderful. ये चीजें आ रही है, बहुत लोगों की नौकरियां चली जाएगी. So if that is the case, well, it's an interesting and both frightening and hopeful time we live in, isn't it?
Right. Okay. I have this personal question for you. I was I've been very curious about it for a long time now. So this thought of becoming a parent has always stuck my mind, because whenever I talk to my parents, I have this feeling that one day I'll be a father, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what is parenting, what does parenting mean, and how to be the best parent which everyone wants to be for their child.
I see parenting as a leadership role. So when you are a parent, you are essentially the leader who has to lead your child into learning to make, solid decisions so they can navigate this sometimes scary world, sometimes crazy world, sometimes busy world. So as a parent, I think your primary responsibility is to offer leadership and mentorship to a new generation of human beings who are likely to deal with a similar version of all the problems that maybe you have had to deal with. So your job is to prepare them for most eventualities, or at least give them the resources to learn how to help themselves when you are no longer in the picture. So I
Hmm.
think a parent's job is not just to protect, but to also really shape a curious and intelligent being out of this new piece of life that you've been handed. A child is a piece of life. You've been handed the responsibility of shepherding this piece of life, giving the child some structure within which a great deal can be accomplished and learned. That is the job of a. See, what I say, parenting is a leadership role, but to be a parent is nothing but biology. A rat,
Yeah.
pigeon, squirrel also becomes a parent. But how
Hmm.
much parenting do these animals do? Apart from teaching their fledglings how to maybe look for food, but that's pretty much where it ends. This is how you look
Yeah.
for food. That's it. Bye bye. No Mother's Day card sent by baby rhinoceros to his mother rhinoceros. No such things exist in the animal kingdom. It's
Right.
very straightforward.
Okay. So I see in my like in my perspective, there are two types of parents, right? Strict parent and lenient parent. And there's a line where you're a category of parent, and on that line, you're very lenient, you're very strict, or you're somewhere in middle.
ठीक है?
So I've seen this that with strict parents, very strict parents, child becomes, self-conscious and shy and introverted. And with very lenient parents, there's this risk of child getting, going into wrong directions, going into alcohol, going into drugs, and going into whatever direction it can lead to. So what's the ideal balance? What do you think, and how should one approach the same?
See, for there is no rule of thumb for this. So if you have strict parents, you can also become a rebel, and you can get into bad habits, and you get into drugs, smoking, bad company, maybe even steal money or get into trouble with the law. Even if you have
Hmm.
strict parents, you may find a way to lie to them and do things under their nose. If
Right.
you have very lenient parents, yes, the chance of you not having leadership because your parents are so lenient is there. So then you
Correct.
look for leadership in other places. You look for leadership from people who are the same age as you. So they are likely to
Hmm.
make the same mistakes as you because they are also tempted by the same things that you are tempted by, isn't it? See, I think it's a very personal decision that a parent needs to take depending on the type of child that you are dealing with. If the child is extremely errant and extremely rambunctious and a pain in the ass, always getting into trouble, then you may have to sort of tighten things up a bit.
Right.
So depending on the child, I always say be a friendly parent. Don't be a friend who is a parent. There's a difference.
Got it.
The child has to always expect leadership from you. So if you become their buddy, they're unlikely to take you seriously. So a friendly parent is someone who gives a lot of space, a lot of respect, but is also able to offer leadership, structure, strictness where desirable, so that the child knows that there is someone who has a far more mature understanding of situations. But the
Correct.
problem is, Dhruv, most people just adapt parenting methods that they have had applied onto them. So again, you become a
Exactly.
sasta zero copy of your own father, your own mother, without realizing that certain things your father and mother have done may not work in
Hmm.
today's day and age, may not be pleasant, may not lead to a happy atmosphere in the house, and may force your child to rebel in ways that otherwise they wouldn't have,
Hmm.
just to
Okay.
basically peeve you off.
Right. What is good education? What does good education mean to you?
I think good education is a sort of um, structure where children are allowed to focus on the things that they are interested about, while at the same time, certain overarching disciplines that are actually helpful for a person
Hmm.
in their life as adults should be taught. For example, very
Right.
few schools teach interviewing skills, very few skills teach financial literacy, very few skills teach self esteem and confidence building. Very few schools encourage every child to develop their public speaking abilities. Very few schools focus on nutrition and teaching a child how to prepare their own food so that they eat
Correct.
healthy and live long. But these are such essential things. How to deal with tax, how to deal with insurance, how to deal with banks, how to deal with government. Civics is taught at such an advanced stage of a child's curriculum. A lot of kids don't even know that there is something called a Lok Sabha and a Rajya Sabha. Why is there a gap in that knowledge of how does a democracy, a parliamentary democracy work, and how does a successful one work?
Hmm.
So these are some ways in which I feel our education system can be more holistic. I do believe that a lot of these IGCSE and uh, international schools now have a more inclusive curriculum to sort of address the big picture of life, rather than what we were told is try to remember in which year was the first draft of the Indian Constitution written, and what did Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru do in the UP
Right.
elections. of the early 1940s and what happened during Direct Action Day. Now, all this information can be supplied to me through Chat GPT or a Google search. Instead, if I had been taught tax planning, or I had been taught how to trade in the stock market, if I had been taught, basics of cooking, I'd be of a lot more use to my family, when I was younger. As I grew older, of course, I picked up on these skills, but you tend to see how much time is wasted in schools preparing for a school annual day where you just essentially have people do a march past. I don't know how many of those people have become soldiers, that they are marching for 45 minutes in the hot sun and people are clapping. It's a terribly boring way to spend half your day walking about in the bloody
Right.
heat of Mumbai, right?
Okay.
So I think schools need to become more imaginative. And I think the change is coming. I'm quite hopeful for the future. But I do believe a good education begins in the home. So it really is in the hands of the parents. That do your parents send you for horse riding and Spanish classes, which are bloody useless for you as you grow up, unless you're moving to
Hmm.
Mexico? Or are your parents teaching you basics of gardening, cooking, self defense? If you're a girl, it's very useful to know how to protect your body from any advances by men perpetrators.
Yeah.
So extracurriculars that can actually plug into a more, you know, pleasant adulthood. I think
Right.
that's something that can also be integrated with the education system. I also believe education should be mandatorily enjoyable. So if a teacher isn't making the classroom environment enjoyable, they should be replaced by someone who's a lot more easygoing and fun. I do believe every discipline can be made enjoyable if you simply recruit
Hmm.
the right people.
Right. Okay. Being a student of psychology and being a psychotherapist, how do you see this concept of self development? Because during COVID-19 lockdown, there was this sudden boom of YouTube videos telling you how to be what's self development books in general. And then after COVID, then after COVID lockdown was gone, we had these people coming up on YouTube and telling that self development is nothing but shit. So, what's your opinion on this?
I think self development is a very quiet and private journey that must take place not online but in line with who you want to be. So
Okay.
don't make a pitch of all the great things that you are doing. Just do them and improve the quality of your life. Your family will thank you for it and you'll be a lot more sorted. See, what happened during COVID 19 is people were caught blind. This is a situation that we have never faced before. Even our grandparents' generation has never faced it. So there were no standard operating practices put into place, and there was a lot of haphazard information or misinformation and rumor mongering.
Hmm.
So people developed anxiety. A lot of people lost their businesses. Their income streams became halved or completely, absent. So when your life is taken away from you and essentially your house becomes your jail cell, you can't have access to basic amenities, when you hear every day people are dying in a
Right.
situation like that, feels like the bloody apocalypse. The zombies have come. It feels that way.
Hmm.
So in a time like that, you would certainly want to turn to soothing voices, voices of hope, voices of reason, voices of clarity, voices of calmness, voices of respect, of dignity, of love. You would want to turn to those voices. Where do you find those voices? You find them on the internet. So a lot of
Hmm.
people made good of that season
Okay.
to learn and also to project their businesses or their services. I think if you turn self development into a competition that you have to win, it will certainly affect your mental health. I think if you turn
Okay.
self development into something you do in small incremental steps on a daily basis, whether you are in a crisis or not in a crisis, self development is something you do in your own pursuit of peace and clarity and balance. If that is the motivation, it's perfectly okay. If yours, it becomes something like, oh, my self development is far more efficient than your self development, then you have turned it into a bloody relay race. You've turned it
Huh.
into a something to show off about. I have lost these many kilos. I have successfully coached these many people. People share statistics of their success as a way to attract more clients. It's perfectly okay. But if that is all you live for and that is all you do it for, then if the moment someone else comes to challenge that position you occupy, it's going to get very hard for you. So I believe self
Agreed.
development is like brushing your teeth. Do it every day. You don't make an announcement of every time you have brushed your teeth. You just do it because dental hygiene is important. So if
Correct.
self development means being curious, surrounding yourself with the right people, watching the right content, right, when I say right, it's not right and wrong, but what is right for you? What is adequately addressing your requirements? That is right for you. Not what is approved of by the family, the culture, the country. You are curious, go searching and find something interesting that will help you upgrade the way you think, or the way you live, or the way you work, or the way you are.
I see. Also, I was just curious about this one thing. You mentioned transactional analysis in your introduction. What is that?
So, transactional analysis is a social psychology. It was born in the late 1950s. Its father was Dr. Eric Berne. So, it's a structure that helps people understand how their personalities are configured. That what makes someone lazy, what makes someone a perfectionist, what makes
Oh,
someone very, very edgy and irritable, what makes someone easy to respect, what makes someone hard to groom for leadership roles. It also helps human beings improve the quality of their interactions. Why do some people struggle to manage a good routine? Why do some people struggle to find true friends? They're always taken advantage of by their social circle or bullied by their families. What are the childhood wounds that have led to these micro abrasions in your personality that have stopped you from achieving the things you wanted to achieve? Why are we so awful to ourselves? TA answers all these questions. I've written about it in my book, Essential TA. I also take TA workshops at the Heart to Heart Counseling Center, which is my company, which I run with my family. So TA is a deep dive into the entire spectrum of human suffering, human change, human interaction, human personality, human thinking, human habit formation, human fears, human biases, that entire spectrum. Let's analyze it. It answers the question, why am I like this?
okay. I'll definitely be reading your book on TA and REBT because I have a clue about what REBT is because I've done a course on Udemy. That was just out of curiosity. So I think I'll be definitely reading those books. Other
Sure.
than that, I have this again one personal question, personal curiosity which I have. Being a teenager, being a 20-year-old, I've just completed my teens and I've stepped into 20, and I'm a college student. I'm a college graduate now. I'm an undergrad. So I've seen relationships coming and going. I've seen friends getting into relationships, breaking up, getting into new relationships, and then the circle repeats. Okay. So what's your take on a romantic relationship, and what makes a relationship last long and last forever to say?
I think if you'll enjoy yourselves with each other, but also respect each other, give each other a lot of space, and most importantly, trust each other. Don't constantly try to do jasusi of each other or try to dictate each other's life choices. If you don't do that, the relationship can last. Whether that's a romantic relationship and you're dating someone, or if it's a friendship, you'll just hang out. There has to be a lot of there has to be a lot of love, a lot of respect, and a lot of trust to sort of ground the relationship and make its foundation very, 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 mazboot, so to speak.
Okay.
But what also happens is a lot of people hang out with each other just to address their boredom, or simply
Hmm.
because there are no other viable alternatives available, or simply because, well, they are studying the same subject, or they live in the same neighborhood, or they have the same circle of friends with whom plans can be made, which is
Or
cost
peer pressure.
effective, or peer pressure. यार तू उससे बात कर ले यार she also likes you, तू उसके साथ बात कर ले. Peer pressure, all kinds of stuff. Everyone's
Right.
looking to solve who they are through other people. No one wants to solve who they are by being a little more reflective, a little more contemplative, a little more intuitive, and to be a good observer of yourself. You want strangers to tell you who you are, complete bloody
Hmm.
strangers, to tell you who you are, and apparently they are the experts on who you are and you are not. I find that entire idea quite silly.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Last question. In the journey of psychotherapy and being a psychotherapist, सबसे ज़्यादा मज़ा क्या चीज़ में आता है?
Well, you always, as a psychotherapist, look forward to clients who enjoy the process of change and growth. Because we also have clients who will kick and scream about the fact that life has been unfair to them and they just don't want to do anything about it. Even if life has been
Right.
unfair to you, I don't know a single person who doesn't feel life has been not been unfair to them, at least a little bit. At least a little bit. We all
Correct.
feel that on a daily basis. But do you want to sit and cry about it and be a victim, or do you want to say, you know what, this is a hard thing to go through, but well, I'm a survivor and I'm going to try to figure the damn thing out. I'm going to try to make do with it, and I'm going to try to make it into something incredible.
Correct.
So I do enjoy as a psychotherapist working with clients who really enjoy psychotherapy, not as something कि मैं पागल हूँ मुझे fix करो, कि मैं दुखी हूँ मुझे खुश करो, but as this is an interesting place for me to explore the very foundations of my belief system, the very you know ingredients of my personality, and I want to see if can the recipe be improved upon, and can I craft a life that is something I enjoy. That something
Right.
is very subjective. What do you enjoy? A lot of people don't know. They're living their lives for other people, for social pressures, for work pressures, for all other types of pressures. As a man, you should do this. As a woman, you should do this. Who says so? Who are they to tell you
Correct.
what you should do? Do what you want, feel what you want, be what you want. And if you screw things up, go back to the drawing board and try something else.
Okay. Also, before this, when we were talking off camera, off recording, you said this one line that हम लोग अपने आप से झूठ बहुत बोलते हैं. What is that about?
झूठ इसलिए बोलते हैं बिकॉज सच्चाई जो है is that a lot of what you believe about yourself is what has been told to you by people who have authority over you when you are young. कि तू
हाँ.
लेजी है,
Okay.
तू निकम्मा है, तू बहुत बकता है. So what? Those are lies. Those are biases that somebody else has towards you, and you have simply taken it as the gospel truth about your life. We lie to ourselves about the things we love, the things we want. Have you met a person who, if you ask them, what do you want to order? नहीं नहीं आप लोग कुछ भी ऑर्डर करो मैं खा लूंगा. क्यों यार?
Hmm.
तुमको कुछ स्पेशल चीज नहीं चाहिए? ये भी एक झूठ है. You go to somebody who's not feeling well. You say, how are you feeling? Ah, I'm fine. Look, I'm feeling better. क्यों झूठ बोल रहे हो? सच बोलो. I feel like absolute shit. I'm scared. सच बोलो. प्रॉब्लम क्या है? अपने आप से झूठ इसलिए बोलते हैं क्योंकि कभी कभी we feel ashamed of our desires. We feel ashamed of our personalities. We feel ashamed of our tendencies. And the reason we feel this shame is because somebody has probably told us we are broken. But here's the good news, everyone is broken. Everyone. We're just broken in different ways. If I take
Right.
two matkas and drop them on the ground together, they will not break in the same way. They will both break, no doubt, but they will break in different ways. This is the human being. हम सब मटके हैं जिनको बहुत पटका गया है. We're all broken in different ways. Now the real adventure is to put the puzzle together. That's the adventure. How do we bring these pieces together to create something that's truly beautiful? जापान में एक चीज है किंटसुगी करके. जितनी चीज पुरानी और टूटी होती है ना उसको एक गोल्ड की फिलिंग से जोड़ देते हैं.
हाँ, right, I've seen that.
उतनी ही उसको खूबसूरत मानी जाती है. इट्स फ्लॉज एंड imperfections make it all the more desire, make it all the more beautiful. How boring would it be if everyone was perfect and everyone was happy all the time?
Hmm.
क्योंकि संघर्ष जो है, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट जो है, it is the single greatest catalyst for inquiry and change and exploration. जब तक तकलीफ महसूस नहीं होती तब तक आपका दिमाग क्रिएटिवली सोल्यूशन नहीं ढूंढेगा.
Correct.
तो संघर्ष से भागिए मत, संघर्ष को समझिए.
Okay. Now, my last question coming towards the end of the podcast. Sir, अब आगे का क्या प्लान है? What's your vision for life? ऐसा कुछ सोचा है कि रिटायरमेंट के पहले ये सब करना है?
घूमना है यार, ध्रुव, दुनिया देखनी है यार. अर्जेंटीना और ब्राजील जाना है. एंटार्क्टिका में
Okay.
पेंगुइन्स के पास खड़े होकर सेल्फी लेनी है भाई मुझे. क्योंकि आई बिलीव एवरी कंट्री, एवरी कल्चर sort of adds into your perspective of the way the world is. नहीं तो क्या होता है ना, ये एथनोसेंट्रिज्म बड़ी कमीनी चीज होती है कि we believe that people say, oh, are you a Maharashtrian? I'm asked. I think my father is. What are you?
Hmm.
I said, I'm alive. What do you believe in? I said, I believe that well-made sandwiches are a thing of beauty. Why not? Make a good sandwich where the bread doesn't become soggy, where the tomato doesn't wet the bottom. That's what I believe in. People try to put labels on everything. That is the problem. And I absolutely hate it. See, you put a label onto something only if you are looking to investigate it in a laboratory. Otherwise, be label free. Be who you need to be in the moment. Be what you need to be in the moment. So I would love to travel the world because I have learned so much about myself. You know, when I backpacked Spain, I saw the entire country go to sleep for at least 3 hours in the afternoon. And it showed me that an entire nation can institutionalize an afternoon nap. An
Yeah.
entire nation can do it. So we who overwork ourselves, what are we doing to ourselves? Why are we punishing our body so much? Why are we ruining our peace of mind so much? Who are we impressing? A boss who will either replace us or who will himself get replaced? A company who will spit us out the moment we become too expensive or their budgets are over? Who are we working
Hmm.
so hard to impress? You must work hard if you enjoy the work. But why do it for someone else? Do it for yourself. That's what Spain taught me. I went to Cambodia where they had a horrible situation called the Khmer Rouge, which a lot of people don't know about. It was kind of like the Jewish Holocaust, which happened during Second World
Okay.
War. वहां पे एथनिक क्लेंसिंग हुआ था, यहाँ पे मास जेनोसाइड हुआ था. कम्युनिज्म के नाम पे बच्चे बच्चों को और पूरे खानदानों को खत्म किया था अपने ही लोगों पे. एंड आई सॉ सो मेनी स्माइलिंग फेसेस इन कंबोडिया. सो कंबोडिया टॉट मी कि दुनिया कितनी भी जुल्म आप पे करे, आपके आगे की पुश्तें भूल जाएंगी एंड दे विल लर्न टू बी हैप्पी
Hmm.
अगेन. तो वक्त हर चीज का मरहम है. Time is the greatest healer, greater than God, greater than therapists, greater than your parents, greater than the government. ये वक्त ही है जो अच्छे अच्छे जख्म को भर देता है.
Right.
कोविड का भी एक जख्म था, 2 साल का वक्त. लेकिन लोग अभी रास्ते पे मोमो खा रहे हैं, फ्रूट जूस पी रहे हैं, जैसे कुछ हुआ ही नहीं. वक्त का कमाल.
Hmm. Beautiful. Okay. So I guess that's pretty much it for this episode. Because अगली बार बात करने के लिए भी कुछ होना चाहिए. Curiosity is तो
बिल्कुल.
never ending.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, Dr. Aman, coming towards the end of the podcast, I would like to ask you what was your experience on being on Koi Nahi Baat Batao, and also was this your first podcast experience?
I have done a podcast with another friend, jahan it was about travel stories. So I've done this, and I've done
Okay.
many webinars and Insta lives. So in a way, format to wahi hota hai. I think I did my first podcast in 2019, even before COVID, with someone who interviewed me. And it's always a pleasure to sort of have an opportunity to share my perspectives so freely and openly. And thank you for making it such a conducive and inclusive environment where we could just keep rambling on about things. Of course, there was some disturbance, there was some ठुकाई का काम. वहां दरवाजा ठीक हो रहा है, लेकिन यहाँ पे हम भी ठीक हो ही गए.
Right. And that's what matters.
That's what matters. हर कोई ठीक हो रहा है. ठीक नहीं हुआ अब तक तो हो जाएंगे. हम बैठे हैं, वो बैठे हैं, सब बैठे हैं. खड़े भी हो जाएंगे, बैठेंगे भी. There is no such thing as unsolvable. There is lack of imagination and lack of effort. But there is no unsolvable problem on this planet.
Okay, I get it. Thank you so much, Dr. Aman, for being on Koi Nahi Baat Batao and enlightening us all with all your wisdom and knowledge. Thank you so much.
I loved it. And I hope everyone who's listened to this, who has sat with us for the last more than 1 hour, has actually taken something home with them. All right?
Yes. Okay. So thank you so much. And for the audience, I'll be linking all the social media handles of Dr. Aman in the description below. Also, I'll be linking his books down below, so you can check them out. And also do follow him everywhere on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on whichever platform is there. And yeah, other than that, also follow Koi Nahi Baat Batao on Instagram so that you are always updated with all the episodes that we are coming with and all the news which we are coming with. I guess, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Till then, stay tuned, keep learning, and peace out.